I keep getting asked whether the better shields are worth it, mainly the light to medium upgrade, so I went full spreadsheet and worked it out, including the heavy shield as well for good measure. Inspired by the Anvil Discord guys sheet from the other day, I've now calculated the light, medium and heavy shield times to kill for both body and headshots for every weapon, and there are some interesting results here. As a very quick recap, shields in Arc Raiders should be thought of as a damage reduction buff rather than a second health bar, and take damage at the same time as your actual HP. Your Raider has 100 base health with no shield, and using one boosts your effective health, i.e. the amount of HP that it looks like you have when someone is shooting at you, to 116 with a light shield, 130 with a medium shield, and 142 with a heavy shield. Because of some quirks about how even a 1 out of 40 durability light shield gives full damage reduction for that one next shot, this effective HP can sometimes be higher, but this is roughly correct for most situations. I go into more detail in my other video on shield mechanics specifically if you want all of the gory details. But for now, let's just look at the table. The slowest TTK in the whole game in terms of number of bullets is the Bobcat, weirdly an epic tier weapon, and this is simply because it does the lowest damage of any gun in the game at 6 per shot. This results in a wild 20 body shots to kill against a light shield, 22 for a medium shield and 25 for a heavy, but the idea is that it's compensated for with its really high fire rate. You can see the difference here between the Bobcat and the Stitcher, which is the closest common tier equivalent. Given it only has a 20 round magazine capacity as standard, you'll seriously want to use something bigger, at the very least the basic plus 5 round craftable one without a blueprint, and the best being the light magazine Mark III, which adds 15 for a total of 35 in the Bobcat, otherwise you have to hit a good portion of your shots to take down any player. We've started here at the highest TTK in terms of bullet numbers, and does this justify the heavy shield? 5 more hits from a relatively niche weapon is in fact the best that the heavy shield performs, and unfortunately it's all kind of downhill from here. Against the Stitcher, which is a weapon that you're much more likely to come up against on enemy raiders, the light to heavy gap is only 4 shots, from 17 to 21, and only 2 more from headshots instead. Yes, this might make a difference, however, do remember that it is not free to take the heavy shield either, and I don't mean in terms of crafting costs. It will also slow down your character in-game by 15%, much more than the 5% you get from the medium shield, or no penalty at all like you see on the light shield. This alone can be a detriment in combat and could equally get you killed more easily, offsetting the benefits that the heavy shield is supposed to provide. Just think about the situation of getting hit just as you're going round a corner. A few extra shots here from being slow, and all the extra damage reduction is for nothing. One of the places that the breakpointy system rears its head, and by that I mean stats that just so happen to perfectly align for clean TTKs, is again unfortunately on a pair of highly used weapons, the Ferro and the Anvil. These are both extremely common guns due to their heavy ammo effectiveness against both Arc and players, the Ferro being the break action rifle and the Anvil being the revolver style hand cannon. Because these do precisely 40 damage when they shoot you, they take out a light shield in exactly 1 shot, and a heavy shield cleanly in 2 body shots because this has 80 durability. There doesn't seem to be any damage drop off with distance in Arc either, so this works the same at any range. This means that the light shield to medium shield difference does actually allow you to tank 1 more body hit from these 2 weapons, moving from 3 to 4, but moving from a medium shield to a heavy shield doesn't make any more difference. You'll still die on that 4th shot regardless. The same goes for getting hit in the head initially and then body shot afterwards. Headshots do a ridiculous amount of damage with the Ferro and the Anvil, hitting for 100 raw damage. Wearing a light shield, you die on hit 2 no matter where they shoot you, because if the first bullet hits the head, it deals exactly 60 after the damage reduction, which leaves your Raider on 40 HP. But with a medium shield, it takes 2 follow-ups to down you, and exactly the same for the heavy, because it's not better enough to take you over to the next shot breakpoint. Do note that if you get headshot twice with either of these 2 weapons, it doesn't matter what shield you're wearing at all. It is a 2-hit kill in every situation with light, medium or heavy. I'm not saying this is a bad thing by any means, because if you get hit twice in the head by the Ferro, you probably deserve it, but something to consider when you're wondering if it's worth moving up to a different tier. For those commonly seen guns in the middle section, such as the Rattler, the Arpeggio, the Kettle and the Berletta, each shield roughly corresponds to 1 extra shot required to take down the wearer. In some fights of course, it can make the difference between life and death, but it isn't usually going to stop you getting downed if you're outgunned on player count or if you get jumped and didn't see your opponent before they opened fire. At this point, you're probably thinking, well, the extra shields just don't really seem worth it, and I totally sympathise with that line of thinking, especially if you're a relatively new player with under 20 hours on the game so far. In that case, light shields are totally fine. Yes, they are craftable with arc alloy and plastic in the workbench, but there's really no need to make them when the free kit exists. If you're really seriously down bad, because of the insanely low matching times, you can literally just grab a free kit which always includes a light shield, head straight to the extract as soon as you spawn in, swap the free augment for a regular one with lance, and take the light shield that you were given plus any meds and build a new kit that way for the next raid. Funnily enough, by the time that you've gone and crafted bandages, shield recharges, a gun, and an augment in the stash, it probably takes roughly the same amount of time overall. So really, the main reasons why you'd move up from the light shield to the medium shield is primarily because you're worried about pharaohs and anvils, but secondly, more just because you can. At some point, you're simply going to have the resources to do it. Mediums cost 1 arc circuit and 4 batteries to make, which feels quite expensive at the start, but once you get more comfortable with looting the higher value areas, you'll find quite a few items that recycle into batteries. In a pinch, you can also grab them from Celeste using her seed barters too. Arc circuits are also not that hard to come by, spawning readily in arc probes and downed couriers, along with other arc enemies too, meaning that you might well find that you have enough mats to make quite a few medium shields before you even realise it. As I said, I do think the main advantage here is giving you 1 extra hit against pharaoh wielding maniacs on free kits, as getting caught with a headshot on a light shield means you're a single hit away from death, whereas medium gives you that 1 extra body hit to do something about it and heal or get away. There's another reason why you might end up running medium shields in the arc mid game, and that is because of building up cash after unlocking all of the storage upgrades. I'm not quite there myself yet, as I still have the final 200,000 one to go, but every player that I see that has been mainlining the game since launch has a ton of actual money, and you can in fact buy medium shields from Lance directly. One final trick to the medium shield is around repairs, and which route to go down depends on which resources you have to hand. The medium shield repair costs 1 arc circuit and 1 battery, but interestingly, you get an arc circuit when you recycle it. You can take that arc circuit and put it back into making a new medium shield, and this means it effectively only costs batteries to repair it, although it does cost you 4 at a time. So if you have loads more batteries, then recycling and crafting a new one is probably better. If you have more arc circuits, then repairing is probably better, except if the durability on the medium shield is really low. It's important to remember that repairing doesn't actually repair a shield all the way to full, so if it's super low, it might be worth recycling anyway, otherwise you're going to have to do 2 repairs, and that's going to cost you 2 circuits and 2 batteries. One point to note about the arc circuits, these can be made directly at Refiner 3 a bit later on out of the easy to acquire arc alloy, at which point you don't have to worry anymore, and it's just batteries that are the bottleneck. Naturally, the heavy shield is the most expensive in terms of resources, but all you really need are these voltage converters due to the fact that power rods can be made in the level 3 refiner. These require 2 advanced electronic components and 2 arc circuits, but as we have seen, these can be made at refiner levels 2 and 3 out of base components, so theoretically it's only the voltage converters that you need to find. These come from industrial chargers and are the only item that I've seen so far that dismantles into them, other than heavy shields themselves, which return 1. In that case, the medium shield theory probably applies better to the heavy shield. Given arc circuits can be made, refiner level dependent of course, you're better off recycling and rebuilding it than repairing it when it goes well under 30 durability, as it only gives you 50 durability each time. With recycling, both repairing and producing a heavy shield costs 1 voltage converter, and the other parts are producible from basic materials. Similarly to mediums, you can also buy heavies from Lance 2, just be aware of the large cooldown and you can only buy 1 within this period. So in summary, the light shield is honestly mostly fine, and don't feel like you're missing out too much by using it over the medium one. If you have the resources, you probably should just use the medium one for the little situations where it helps out, but only when you feel able to with your progression. The heavy shield just doesn't really seem worth it given the movement penalties and the extremely small extra ballistic protection compared to the medium shield. Although in a squad of 3, you might consider putting it on your frontliner to tank that little bit of extra damage while your other players keep their maneuverability. So next up, go and check out my video on shield mechanics and effective HP if you haven't already. Otherwise, as usual, a big shout out to all my patrons, and as always, have fun in your raids.